Blanche, and I'm going to demonstrate how to make goat's milk today. It's a little bit trickier because the goat's milk can burn quite easily, so temperature is a big deal. The olive oil is creates a very soft, luxurious soap. It's you can just use strictly olive oil, which will end up being quite hard, but it is feels very nice on the skin. I like to add some coconut oil because that adds a bit of lather. I add palm oil, which gives it a really nice creamy feeling. I add castor oil, that adds more bubbles and luxuriousness. And I put some palm kernel oil in this particular recipe because it helps to harden the soap. And a little bit of beeswax. I grate up the beeswax ahead of time, so I just have to measure it out. Measuring is very important in soap making because the lye and oils have to be in the right proportion in order for the soap to siphonify and turn into soap. Otherwise you'll just get a sludge. I have measured out most of the oils ahead of time because it is kind of time consuming, and you want to make sure you have all afternoon to do this if you're going to make soap. You can't rush or you start making mistakes and your soap doesn't turn out. That's the beeswax. This here is the goat's milk. I've frozen it into ice cubes and then I brought it out this morning. It's gotten somewhat slushy, and that will make it just perfect for when I add the lye. And you heat them on a very low temperature because you don't want the oils to overheat. It ruins the smell of the oils in your soap later on. One thing you need to have on hand is vinegar. Vinegar will nullify the lye if you happen to spill anything. I'm going to put the goat's milk into a plastic container, and I'm going to just kind of mash it up. So this particular recipe, I'm making a large batch, calls for 527.16 grams of lye. The lye you can buy at a hardware store. Home Hardware carries it. I use a plastic spoon in this. And anything that you measure lye in or have the lye in, do not use for food. It has to strictly be your soap making supplies. It's very important that you keep the temperature of this goat's milk below 100 degrees because otherwise it will burn and you can't use it for your soap. So the lye, when it interacts with either water or the milk, will heat. So you have to be careful and just add little bits at a time. This keeps the temperature of the lye and the milk down. Like I said, you don't want it to go above 100 degrees. And as you can see, if you put lye into water that's the least bit warm, it can boil over.
So is that toxic? Is that like
that
going to create like a smoke where?
It doesn't create a smoke, but it does have toxic fumes. So you need to do this in a well-ventilated area. I'm doing it in my kitchen for the video, but most times I do it out on my deck.